That's awesome.
Recording in progress.
Welcome, everybody, to the January 17th, 2023 regular Board of Aldermen meeting. Would everybody please join with me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Alderman Plufka.
Here.
Alderwoman Tice.
Here.
Alderwoman Sims.
Here.
Alderman Weggie.
Here.
Alderman Gould.
Here.
Alderman Lockmiller.
Here.
Alderwoman O'Neill. Here. Alderman Shelton.
Here.
All members are present.
Great, thank you. Next up on the agenda are approval or amendment. Are there any changes to the agenda? Any objection to approving the same by acclamation? Seeing none, it will be so approved. Thank you. Let's move down to public hearing. We have one item, and that is a public hearing for a new conditional use permit. So with that, I will gavel open a public hearing for the new conditional use permit for Arts in Motion Children's Dance and Music School within the tenant space addressed at 2949 South Brentwood Boulevard. Anybody interested in speaking on this matter, now is the time to do so.
Whitney Kelly on behalf of the City of Brentwood. I'm just here presenting the application. The tenant is leasing 3,940 square feet of tenant space at the Brentwood Common Shopping Center at 2494 South Brentwood Boulevard. I'm sorry, 49 South Brentwood Boulevard. She's actually been in this location since 2018. However, the business, 2016. However, the business license lapsed, and it does require a CUP, and we could not find any record of the original CUP. So that is prompting a review tonight. We do see this as a technicality, but I'll let her make a presentation.
Okay. Hi, my name is Alicia Jonas. I'm the owner and director of Arts Motion. I've been the owner since 2006. As she said, this is more of a technicality in cleaning up the business permit, which sort of a glitch thing. We noticed that this CUP hadn't been required originally, so this is more of a request to grant. We're not making any changes to the space. We've been in the space for a number of years, so yeah, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any questions? Okay, thank you. Yeah, go ahead, Whitney.
She is asking for first and second reading, tonight, as this is just a technicality, and they're not making any changes to the exterior of the building or the site. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Okay, we'll take that matter up on the agenda when it comes up. Thank you. Anybody else in the public care to address the board on that matter? If not, I will close the public hearing for the new conditional use permit for Arts in Motion Children's Dance and Music School. Next up is citizen comments. Anybody in the public care to address the board, now is the time to do so. You will have up to 3 minutes. Just please state your name and your address and do it from the podium, please. Yes, come on down.
Hi, my name is Natalie Smith. I run a business in Brentwood, City of Brentwood owned building. In 2010, I formed a company called Bowser House and registered my business permit at Webster Groves. We're zoned Webster Groves over in the Brentwood Industrial Court there, or Breckenridge Industrial Court. And I've been there for over a decade with Webster Groves business permit. And last year, I don't know if you all are aware, City of Brentwood bought my building. So you're my landlord technically, but we're zoned Webster Groves. And then this autumn, as you all know, we had a big flood. And I've sort of had trouble ever since getting anybody to deal with the property. I can't get any response from anybody about the property. So I've been sitting there limping along, waiting for to get some acknowledgement of your real estate management. That's my 3-minute comment. And if you have any questions for me about it.
Okay, thank you. This is just public comment. This is not a question and answer part of the meeting. So again, it's just an opportunity for somebody in the public to have up to 3 minutes to speak their piece.
All right.
Thank you. Brings us down to mayor and alderman reports. First up is the mayor, and I have, first of all, wanted to welcome everybody to the new year. And secondly, I want to announce that we have the results from the great pillow fight between our police department and our fire department in a surprising reversal, maybe to some, compared to the prior year. The police department eked out a victory over our fire department to the tune of 302 pillows collected by our police department and 123 pillows collected by our fire department. In all seriousness, it's for a great cause. We thank you so much for leading the charge on this, and once again, showing how much you care for the people in the community. So thank you for doing that, and thank you for everybody who took the time to make contributions, donations to both those places. That's it for the mayor. Alderman Plufka.
No report.
Alderwoman Tice.
No report.
Alderwoman Sims.
No report.
Alderman Weggie.
Yeah, just one topic just for awareness of the board. So at Public Works, we've been talking for the last two meetings about carnival rides at Brentwood Days or Madden Fest, and just want to bring you up to date of where we are on that. So, basically the issue is the new Brentwood Park is not conducive to having carnival rides in where it is. It's too hilly and things like that. So, basically we've discussions so the direction we gave last week at Public Works was that we want to keep the carnival rides. I think the sense from the Public Works was that, that is a core tradition of this town, even if that means it has to be back at Brentwood Sports Complex as it typically is. So just wanted to bring the board up to speed on the decision that was made at Public Works.
Thank you. Where are we? Alderman Gould.
Yes, the Ward 3 meeting will be January 31st at 7 o'clock at the Rec Center. Kelly, do we have a room for that? Is it usually in room C, but I'm not sure.
Eric, do you know? Yes, I think it's already scheduled, I'm
I
sure
think,
it is.
yeah.
Yes. I don't know what room, but it's scheduled. It's there.
Okay. Show up and you'll see us in a room there.
Okay, Alderman Lockmuller.
No report.
Alderwoman O'Neill. No report. And Alderman Shelton.
No report.
Great, that drops us down to City Administrator Report, Brentwood Bound Update.
Good evening. Craig Schiller with Navigate Building Solutions. I'll be providing the Brentwood Bound update. Starting with construction costs, $1,980,106.80 was spent since the last board meeting. Next is soft costs, $138,744.10 was spent on legal, engineering, design, utility, project management, on-site camera, and material testing fees. Going through the categories of funding, the only update since the last report was the city received the West Credit Community, wow, I can't say it. Help me out, West Community Credit Union, thank you. $400,000 donation, so that was the only update. Sorry
Great.
about that.
Any questions for Craig on that? Okay,
Great,
thank you, Craig.
thanks.
Next up is the Brentwood Bound Curb, Eck, and Breckle third quarter audit presentation. Bola, I think you're handling this.
Yes, I am, Mayor. KUB representative are not at the meeting tonight. You remember that they were hired in 2018 to have oversight of the funds for the 2018 COPS and the 2019 COPS to make sure that the city was following the city's purchasing policy and financial policies and procedures in regards to how the funds were being expensed. And happy to report to you that there are no exceptions in the third quarter report that they reviewed for the city.
Great, thank you. Any questions? Yes, Alderman Plufka.
Clarification on page 3, I thought there was an exception with regard to a payment to Armstrong Teasdale. Under subsection 2.
Yeah.
I am pulling that up.
I think it's page 3. They're not paginated, so I don't know. I'm guessing it's 3.
Payment, yeah, an exception was noted in our testing for 5 invoices totaling, okay, yes, I retract that. Overstated by $10,590, resulting in the approval and payment of $29,821 to the vendor, and that has been corrected.
But I had a question about that. That's the only reason I brought it up. Sure. Do you know how it was identified? Do you know under what circumstance it was identified? Or how it came to light, I guess? I don't get that from this paragraph.
I don't recall.
Okay.
I can look into it and
Is it
report back.
possible we could
Oh, yeah,
ask them? Okay.
absolutely.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions about the KEB report? If not, City Attorney?
Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to amend the city administrator's report in one regard, lest the record of this meeting be unclear or inaccurate. The city of Brentwood has communicated with the owner, the tenant, and the Bowser House operation month after month after month through city officials, through the legal counsel engaged by the city to deal with the property, and has explained the city's position over and over and over and over again. This matter is in litigation, and I would respectfully suggest that any further communications be directed solely to the city's council and to be addressed by the city in that manner in the future. But the statements made with respect to a lack of responsiveness and a lack of concern are totally and completely inaccurate.
Thank you. That brings us down to the consent agenda, under which we have 4 items. Are there any questions by the board about any of these items? I'm sorry, ma'am, you're not recognized right now? That's okay. With that, the board would, or the chair would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
We've got a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Plufka?
Yes.
Alderwoman Tice?
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims?
Yes.
Alderman Weggie?
Yes.
Alderman Gould?
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller?
Yes.
Alderwoman O'Neill? Alderman Shelton?
Yes.
Motion carries by a vote of 8-0.
Great. That brings us down to old business. Bill number 6439. Can we get a second reading of Bill 6439 by title only, please?
Bill number 6439, second reading and consideration for adoption, an ordinance levying an additional sales tax on sales of adult-use marijuana and calling an election for voter approval of such tax.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. And we get the chair would entertain a motion to perfect 6439 into ordinance form.
I make a motion that we perfect Bill number 6439 into ordinance form.
Second.
All right. Discussion. Alderman Plufka.
So do I understand it correctly that the statute upon which this comes to us has limited, the state legislature has limited municipalities like us from putting anything on the ballot in excess of the percentage that we have listed here?
You are essentially correct, but it is not statutory, it's constitutional.
Oh.
And it is the voters of Missouri who have amended the Constitution in November to create this. And it is a constitutional amendment which specifically sets a maximum of 3%.
Thank you. That's the only question I had.
The city is free, and the language of the voter approval sought is free to levy less from time to time.
Right.
And I would add, by the way, this is a point-of-sale tax, so it's only applicable to sales occurring within the corporate limits of the city.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Sure. Anyone else? If not, roll call, please.
Alderman Plufka?
Yes.
Alderwoman Tice?
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims?
Yes.
Alderman Weggie?
Yes.
Alderman Gould?
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller?
Yes.
Alderwoman O'Neill? Alderman Shelton?
Yes.
By a vote of 8-0, Bill 6439 will become ordinance 5072.
Great, thank you. That brings us down to bill number 6442. Can we get a first read by title only, please?
Bill number 6442, first reading, an ordinance authorizing the mayor and/or city administrator to enter into a cooperative agreement for the provision of technology services with the city of Clayton, Missouri, on behalf of the city of Brentwood, Missouri.
Thank you, Larry. Larry, you want to come on down and present on this, please?
So our current agreement.
And just identify yourself for the board.
Sorry.
And people watching.
Hi, I'm Larry Colvey. I'm the IT director for the Technology Services Department of Clayton.
Thank you.
Our current agreement that we have with the city of Brentwood is over at the end of this month at the end of January, and so this is for a renewal of a continuation of those services. One of the things we're changing this time, we're co-terming. If you'll notice in the agreement, it's actually this initial term is for 18 months, and that's so that we can co-term it to the same end date that the city of Richmond Heights has. Because every time a new term is approved, a new agreement is approved, we have to reevaluate cost, and then we adjust costs, and it's just better for all three cities to adjust those costs at the same time. So the initial term is 18 months, and then it would renew for it would go back to 36-month renewals after that. Another thing to note on this renewal, the previous 3-year term, the city of Brentwood was paying for 35% of the technology services department operational costs. This new agreement is for 31%. It's going down 4% from what it was last term. All that information comes from all of the data that we've collected over the last 3 years from our various help desk systems and project management and time tracking systems. Other than that, I just want to add, I think it's been a great partnership for all participating cities, which it's Clayton, Brentwood, and Richmond Heights. And we've all, I think, gained a lot from it in a larger staff to handle things like turnover or maybe special events. We've got a more competent and specialized staff than any of the cities could get on their own. And so from all three cities' perspective, I think it makes a lot of sense, and it's brought benefits to everyone.
Yeah, I will simply add this. Many of us who are on the board were around before we partnered with Clayton, and we remember how things were back then. So I would echo your sentiments. I think it's been a rousing success for the city of Brentwood. Just out of curiosity, has there been any other municipalities that have reached out to Clayton that you know of or that you can speak to try and join in on this? If you can't, that's fine. I completely understand.
I can tell you there's nothing in the works,
Okay.
Is what I'll say. There's definitely been cities and other agencies reach out, but to date, it hasn't really went anywhere.
I think it's a wonderful example of how cities can collaborate without having to destroy those boundaries and still preserve the uniqueness of those cities. And so with that, are there any questions? We would like to have a second read of this tonight, so can I get a motion to that effect?
Your Honor, I make a motion that we have a second reading of this bill this evening.
Second.
All right. Any discussion on that motion for second read? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, can we get a second read of Bill number 6442 by title only, please?
Bill number 6442, second reading and consideration for adoption. An ordinance authorizing the mayor and/or city administrator to enter into a cooperative agreement for the provision of technology services with the city of Clayton, Missouri, on behalf of the city of Brentwood, Missouri. Mr. Mayor, if I may, as a point of personal privilege, I'd like to disclose the fact that I think you are all aware of the fact, I also represent the city of Clayton and assisted Mr. Covey in the preparation of this contract.
Thank you. Chair would entertain a motion to perfect Bill number 6442 in ordinance form.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Plufka?
Yes.
Alderwoman Tice?
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims?
Yes.
Alderman Weggie?
Yes.
Alderman Gould?
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller?
Yes.
Alderwoman O'Neill? Alderman Shelton?
Yes.
By a vote of 8-0, Bill 6442 will become ordinance 5073.
Thank you. Brings us to new business, under which we have 3 items. The first is Bill number 6443. Can we get a first reading by title only, please?
Bill number 6443, first reading, an ordinance amending section 110.310 of the Brentwood City Code relating to the Communication Committee.
Thank you. Are you presenting, or is Jeff, Alderman Gould? Alderman Gould, you care to present on this?
I mean, I can
Since
present
you're the
on it.
chair of that committee?
I guess. This is our first order of business as a committee being re-engaged as a committee. So as you all recall, this committee has been on the code for some time now. As we have had new membership and re-engaged the committee, we found that with the previous description of the committee and the role of the committee was a bit outdated, and we wanted to sort of clean it up and bring it to a place to where it doesn't restrict us from future evolution of what the committee's purpose is, and aligns it more closely to some of the other committees that the city has in the code. So that's, the committee reviewed the recommendation from the city administrator on the wording of how we should modify it, and we all agreed to bring it up to the board.
Okay, great, thank you. Do you have any questions for either Bola or Alderman Gould? If not, we would like to have a second read on this as well tonight.
Make a motion for a second read.
Thank you.
Second.
Any discussion on that motion for a second? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I'm sorry. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, can we get a second read of Bill number 6443 by title only, please?
Bill number 6443, second reading and consideration for adoption. An ordinance amending section 110.310 of the Brentwood City Code relating to the Communications Committee.
Thank you. Chair would entertain a motion to perfect Bill number 6443 into ordinance form.
So moved.
Second.
All right. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Plufka?
Yes.
Alderwoman Tice?
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims?
Yes.
Alderman Weggie?
Yes.
Alderman Gould?
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller?
Yes.
Alderwoman O'Neill? Alderman Shelton?
Yes.
By a vote of 8-0, Bill 6443 will become ordinance number 5074.
Thank you. Brings us down to Bill number 6444. Mr. City Attorney, can we get a first read by title only, please?
Bill number 6444. First reading, an ordinance approving a subdivision plat to subdivide property located at 8828 West Pendleton Avenue into 3 single-family residential lots.
Thank you. Whitney, the floor is yours.
Good evening. Thank you. This is approximately 0.597 acres at the corner of Collier and Pendleton that the applicant is seeking to subdivide to create three single-family residential homes in the B single-family district. But all 3 lots comply with the district regulations, and the Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval by a vote to 7-0.
And again, this is solely on the subdividing of that lot. This is not any plans for any homes would still have to go through the ARB and anything
Correct.
else.
The
Okay.
New homes would still have to go through the ARB. This is just the subdivision. This would have first have appeared on the first meeting in January. Since that meeting was canceled, the applicant would like to request a first and second reading tonight.
Okay. Do we have any questions for either Whitney or the applicant about this request to subdivide? If not, can we get a motion for a second read?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion on that motion? All in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Mr. City Attorney, can we get a second read of Bill number 6444 by title only, please?
Bill number 6444, second reading and consideration for adoption. An ordinance approving a subdivision plat to subdivide property located at 8828 West Pendleton Avenue into 3 single-family residential lots.
Thank you. Chair would entertain a motion to perfect Bill number 6444 into ordinance form.
Your Honor, I move to perfect Bill number 6444 into ordinance form.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to perfect. Any discussion? Alderman Gould.
There are currently curb cuts already there for driveways. Were there already 3 homes on this lot previously, or were those installed with the?
There were previously 2 lots, or two homes originally.
Okay.
So we will have 1 extra curb cut, but they will all be off of.
If you could come to, I'm sorry, if you could come to the mic.
Sorry, my name is J.R. Mayer, president of Prestige Custom Homes. There were at one point 2 houses on the property, and we're gonna make it 3. The one property did have their access off the side street,
Collier.
where we will have all 3 of ours on to Pendleton, so it will not.
No, actually,
Collier.
one was on Pendleton.
Yeah, I got it flipped. Sorry.
You'll have all 3 on Collier now?
Yeah.
Okay, great, thank you.
Anything else? Any other questions? Roll call.
Alderman Plufka?
Yes.
Alderwoman Tice?
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims?
Yes.
Alderman Weggie?
Yes.
Alderman Gould?
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller?
Yes.
Alderwoman O'Neill? Alderman Shelton?
Yes.
By a vote of 8-0, Bill 6444 will become ordinance number 5075.
Thank you. That brings us down to the last item under new business, and that's Bill number 6445. Mr. City Attorney, can we get a first read by title only, please?
Bill number 6445, first reading, an ordinance granting site plan approval and a conditional use permit for Arts in Motion Children's Dance and Music School within the tenant space addressed as 2949 South Brentwood Boulevard.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for the applicant or for Whitney? If not, I think you heard the request earlier. They would like to have a second read on this tonight, especially since it's just simply a technicality.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on that motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, can we get a second read of Bill 6445 by title only, please?
Bill number 6445, second reading and consideration for adoption, an ordinance granting site plan approval and a conditional use permit for Arts in Motion Children's Dance and Music School within the tenant space addressed as 2949 South Brentwood Boulevard.
Thank you. Chair would entertain a motion to perfect Bill number 6445 into ordinance form.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? Roll call?
Alderman Plufka?
Yes.
Alderwoman Tice?
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims?
Yes.
Alderman Weggie?
Yes.
Alderman Gould?
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller?
Yes.
Alderwoman O'Neill? Alderman Shelton?
Yes.
By a vote of 8-0, Bill 6445 will become ordinance number 5076.
Great, thank you. I say welcome to the city of Brentwood, but seemed to about 6 years late, but, okay. And that brings us to the last item, which is citizen comments. Again, if anybody in the public cares to address the board, now is the time to do so. Again, you will be given up to 3 minutes. Come right on down, please. If you could, just wait till you get to the microphone. So, and the reason for that is we're recording this, so anybody watching it, they will not be able to hear you unless you're actually at the mic.
My additional comment is that the situation that I'm in is currently not in litigation. It was resolved via litigation earlier this month. So I'm not in any kind of legal trouble or anything.
Okay.
I'm just waiting for the property to be updated and fixed, structurally speaking.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else care to address the board? If not, Chair would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Is that okay? We're okay with that? Everyone in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Do we
Yes.
remember how to adjourn? Okay. All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
See, no new business. This meeting.
I'm going to leave that